Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the morning show. I'm Abdul Rahman, and I'm pleased to be joined by my dear brothers, Dr. Omar Najareen and our dear brother Adnan al-Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
It's good to have you with us once again. Dr. Omar,
Yeah, always a pleasure.
how's your day?
Alhamdulillah.
Morning so far?
Yeah, woke up, came here.
It is. Yeah, thanks for that
Started
update.
20 minutes ago for me as well.
Barakallah fikum. It is Friday morning, Jummah, the blessed day of Jummah. It's currently 9:24 in Sydney. Cool 7 degrees here in beautiful Belmore, or 9 degrees, sorry. And the forecast is a nice sunny day, Dr. Omar. Top of 19.
You know, when I used to watch certain shows in America and that they say, oh, it's 70 degrees here, 60 degrees. I'm like, man, what's going? Like, it's crazy. They're cooking there and it's 40 degrees here, we can't even breathe.
And you're the doctor?
And that's when I was a kid, bro. I couldn't figure it out. And then it was during school, I don't know, when some point during the school where they actually explained that America works off a different
Fahrenheit, yeah, always want to be different.
Fahrenheit. And you're probably the one known to be Mr. Digits.
Okay.
I think we go off Celsius, 100 degrees is the boiling point of water. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know exactly how it works. Something along that. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Yeah, so their 32 degrees starts off at our zero.
Sorry?
When they're 32 degrees, it's zero for us. 0 Celsius.
Yeah,
So their 70 degrees is plus 30 is 30 degrees.
there we go. And I think that there's only like 2 or 3 countries in the world that work off the
Fahrenheit.
system,
Yeah.
metric system too.
No, we're metric.
We're metric, they're
Imperial.
imperial. So they're inches and...
Inches and feet, and we're meters.
Never understood that, but...
And even then, you want to know even what's worse? Their inches, what they've got also 2 types of inches as well, inches and feet, that are slightly different by like a couple mil.
Because they're like 5 inches, 5 inch, 7 point with quarter,
Yeah, 5
inch,
foot 7 inch,
something, whatever.
10
and
feet, 11 inch.
They just do it like it's nothing. You're sitting there thinking like,
It's stupid because they're not. You can't even divide it to get from 1 inch to get to 12 to get to 1 foot. That's that. So they got like their foot is our meters and their inch is our millimeters, for example. You've got 12 goes into it. So if you want to get 12 inches makes 1 foot. It's like
Yeah.
make it a whole number, make it 10. But yeah, 12.
yeah.
So they'll have like 10 foot, 11 inches and a quarter.
Well, that's the majority of the world's metric.
Yeah. I think there's 3 countries that do imperial.
And they do imperial. And they also got the miles and we got the kilometers.
Yeah.
There's like 1.8 something to whatever. But yeah, subhanAllah, everything is...
It's gonna be different.
everything is different, subhanAllah. I remember the for what you call it, the a kilo is
Yeah.
no it's 4 liters of water or something like that equals a
No.
kilo. There's some water measurement cube, I don't know,
I
but
think kilo is kilo
yeah, but the kilo,
or gallon.
no kilo. What makes a kilo? What makes
A kilo
kilo.
is 100 mil by 100 mil by 100 mil.
a kilo is a unit of the metric system, and it's equal
1,000
to
grams.
the mass of 1,000 cubic centimeters of water.
All right.
So it goes off a water
System. When you go 3D, it'll start loosening up a bit.
water measurement. But then, in saying that, subhanAllah, we have different parts of the world using different
Systems and everyone's
systems.
normal, yeah. It's like language as well. You hear someone talking another language, sometimes I'm like, bro, you're faking, eh? Like some languages sound so weird. Have you heard what language was it? Some European country. You're looking at them as if they're doing sound effects with their mouth. There's no letters, it was so weird. I'm like, I reckon he's just joking, like just making up a language and talking to his mate, running amok with me.
I'll say when languages the first started, like every language obviously derives from another language. You know what I mean?
You reckon?
Well, that's
Probably, I got
that's
no
how
idea.
like they say Arabic, and you know these type of languages. They like, for example, English was sort of bit of Latin, bit of this,
Yeah.
bit of that. You know what I mean? Derived
Yeah.
from that. But really, language is just, you know, even the language between us and America is also some spellings is different, way of talking and
Yeah, yeah.
communication,
I
and what they
remember
say, the normal slang.
Yeah. I
Like, you
remember
know,
typing on Microsoft Word and essay and I'm writing colour and it's like, oh, you're wrong. I'm like, I swear I'm spelling colour, right? And I spell it O-R. Or,
but you know what? The Americans too is they pronounce every letter in the word we don't.
colour.
For example, I'm gonna write a word here. I'm gonna test this out and see.
They don't pronounce a knife.
No, you'll be surprised, bro. You'll be surprised. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do a little test now. All right. What's that?
Water.
Okay, you've actually didn't say water.
Water.
You said W-A-T-A. That's what you said.
Water, yeah.
Now,
We don't pronounce the ER.
Yeah.
They pronounce the R.
Water.
Water. See? Tower. Yeah? They were
fascinating.
making fun of us when the Mashaykh from America came here. They made fun of us that we weren't pronouncing bird.
Bird.
Where's the R? How do they say it?
I don't know. Bird.
Yeah, bird. Larry Bird. they pronounce each letter.
Gives it the hat.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting how
I don't know how we got here, but apparently it
countries
started off with the weather.
change from another. No, we're just talking generally like how it's amazing. Like if someone was listening to America and they said, you know, whatever, 17 degrees, 12 degrees, like to them that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Fahrenheit and Celsius, isn't it? Now, then, what do you use out in the field when you're surveying?
Meters and millimeters, but I can't remember what year it was. I think pre-1900s they started using feet and inches. So it's ugly. So we've got to even translate it in thing. We'll be like, got the calculator next to us and then,
what about ounces, and you don't do that,
nah, just distances.
just distances.
And even if you want to go back, they used to use links as well. So you see like a chain. I think 100, my boss was going to kill me. 100 chains like 33 meters, something like that, 20 meters. So it's weird. They used to like, because they used to measure, they didn't have a measuring tape. They used to have like a big roll of like chains and
Yeah.
each chain was like 100 mil or something. So they used to pull it and one guy would count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's
oh,
how
the
they,
actual links.
yeah, links, that's what it's called. And that's how they'd get the distance. So let's say they're on a hill, they'd put on an angle. One guy would measure, so they'd pull the line and hold it tight. One guy would pull an angle, get the angle so they know like the horizontal. And they'd also measure the temperature. Because in a temperature, the links will expand or shrink.
You'll be actually surprised. Nadal will actually be surprised. Is that there is like what they've done? They've made these spheres of silicon,
Yeah.
right? It looks like metal, and they're exactly 1 kilo, and they've sent them all around the world. They made like each continent's got one, and that is the actual true measure of
Unit of measurement.
1 kilo.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like that becomes the gold standard of
Yeah, yeah.
measurement, because really, how do you determine it? You have to be able to
Prove it. Yeah, I get
prove
what
it and
you're
compare
saying.
it to
Yeah.
something. And what they said, like when things are made of brass and things like that, you know, when they used to use them in the marketplaces and that, like a kilo won't be a kilo. It would be 9.8,
Something,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Now, for weighing cucumbers and that really sometimes doesn't matter.
Insignificant, yeah.
But for people that are doing like very detailed stuff,
yeah.
that's very, very important. to them.
Definitely. Like even I had bought this like tool and I bought like 2 attachments and I was trying to save myself money. So I'm like, I'll get the second attachment and I'll put 2 screws in there and I'll fit it into my vacuum.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going in because I was off by like half a mil. And then my friend's looking at me, he's laughing. He's like, you can't be like that. Like, look at the tool. It's so intricate. So he got this little fancy measuring tool. It measures to like sub-millimeter. And we had to drill it exactly to the mil. And I'm like, it's ridiculous. Not ridiculous. It's amazing, actually. It's to the standards that everyone goes
Now,
to.
making news, it's the same today. The COVID's the main story in the news with apparently the ADF, Australian Defence Force, called in to enforce COVID-19 restrictions in Greater Sydney lockdown. Dr. Omar, 300 ADF personnel will be deployed after New South Wales Police Commissioner Mike Fuller made a request to the federal government, according to a statement by New South Wales Police.
I'll let you know, for people that don't understand, there's actually a big thing. Not a big thing that they're coming out. The big thing that the army was made separate from civilian policing, pretty much
Yeah.
to say. And it's
Highly.
only been a few times in like, you know, for example, a major flood disasters and things like that where they've deployed the army. And the reason they don't is because they try to keep police separate from
The army.
the actual army. So calling them in, it just shows, which is not a problem. Yani, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather deal with army personnel than sometimes a police officer, because you know they're out there just to try to protect with everyone else. You know, they're not going to be there jumping on people and arresting people. That's not their job. They're
ego
just,
problems and stuff like
you know,
that. Yeah.
they're going to be just sort of control and whatever. You know, I saw a funny video of this guy taking out his rubbish and the tank is following him and he's taking his rubbish out. And it says Australia from Friday or Saturday. It's not gonna be like that. It's just
Extra numbers.
but it just shows that it's like the government in New South Wales have actually they haven't got any more options. Yeah, that was supposed to be the last resort.
Now, there are reports coming through that the numbers should be lower today. And as we know, that a few days ago, the lockdown was extended for another 4 weeks. So we need to know that the reasons to leave home include shopping for essential goods, one person only, as we know, medical care, getting vaccinated, outdoor exercises in groups of 2 people maximum, and essential work or education. Now, a singles bubble will be introduced to allow people who live alone to nominate a person to visit. And as we know, masks are mandatory in all non-residential indoor settings, including workplaces, Dr. Omar. In your workplace, how's the masks?
Masks.
It's favourable by all?
It's been like that from the beginning when they first...
But the compliance, I'm saying.
Compliance
most
is not a
people
problem. Compliance is not a problem. Generally, most people don't have a problem, honestly. Only the ones that genuinely don't have any medical problems, have medical problems and issues, they generally cannot wear a mask because they do feel like they're suffocating and they got an exemption. But for those that don't and say, oh, I do, and you fear Allah, because don't pretend to have a sickness that maybe Allah one day will give you that sickness.
I was thinking that, subhanAllah.
I find that a lot of people, they pretend to be disabled and then as if it's like you want to pretend, okay.
Don't laugh at it, yeah. That's sometimes as well, like when you're younger, like if you're parking at a disabled spot for like 5-10 minutes, someone would walk out like, oh, pretend to be disabled, and I'd always have that thing in the back of my mind, like he'd be limping, and everyone would be laughing, like, don't laugh, because like it's not something to laugh at all. Yeah,
but in saying that, there was a 26-year-old that I'd seen. He looks normal, looks fine, looks like just a normal brother. If you list his medical conditions, we're talking about serious. He's got kidney failure, he's got organ failure, has had organ failure in the past. He's had heart problems, on a ton of medication, and he's walking around without a mask. People might look at him and look at this bloke, but behind it, all you have to do is him just lift up his shirt and you'll be shocked at how many operations he's had and things like that. He appears to be normal, but the reality is he's got a lot more complications than what it appears. So it is good to give the benefit of the doubt. But in general, it's not, like we mentioned before, it's not the first time Australia's been mandated to wear masks. It was mandated in 1918.
1919 or 18? Spanish flu, wasn't it?
Spanish flu, 18, maybe towards the 19. I think the article was October 2018.
Do you know the reason why they used to wear those long eagle masks, the doctors?
Yeah, they used to be called there was a name for those doctors, the plague doctors.
Yeah, and I think they used to have, like, from memory, I watched the video, I think they used to put like incense at the bottom of the mask or something that would help them breathe, or was it, I don't know what it was.
Not for them to look like a crow. There was actually
it was a reason
for it.
Now, Dr. Omar as well.
If I saw someone like that, bro, I'll run, yeah.
Japan prepares to extend state of emergency amid Tokyo Games.
Well, Tokyo is going to ikhrab the dunya,
as COVID-19 case increases. COVID-19 cases increase. Now, Japanese Prime Minister, I love his name. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but I'm going to try. Yoshihide Suga. Suga.
But you've just insulted the whatever president, emperor of Japan.
Prime Minister here. They still have emperors.
He's listening to this podcast, bro.
Yeah. They still have emperors in Japan.
I think so, Japanese. Yeah. But they don't do it. Like the king, the queen, they don't do nothing. Symbolic, yeah.
He's listening to this podcast, and he knows it's the number one podcast.
Yeah, well, apologize for the wrong pronunciation of his name, because I'm pretty sure I mispronounced his name. What was the character from Mario Kart? What was it?
Takashi, whatever.
Isn't it
Yoshi.
You know what?
Was that?
Good old days.
Have you seen the Olympic Games? They're still advertising 2020 Olympic Games everywhere. I'm watching it. I'm like, I swear we're in 2021.
No.
Yeah.
It's 2021.
And they've done that with the Euro Cup too, I think.
Because what happened then? Oh,
because 2020. It was
yeah. I don't know.
Because you know how much it's going to cost them to change all the signs?
Imagine waiting years and
you got billions of dollars worth of signs. Like, man, just skip it 2020.
Now, the government's decision comes amid a rise in COVID-19 transmissions throughout the country, where on Thursday, cases surpassed 10,000 for the first time. So it's a serious matter there. Also, there's on Twitter, Pray for Turkey is trending. So I just logged on. It's because there's a lot of fires there for some reason.
I heard as well, Lebanon, there was a fire. I got sent a photo yesterday.
Fires. There's a lot of pictures there. I'm not too sure why and how come, if they're being set up by people or arson, or I don't know what's going on. So we're just trying to get some more information there.
Yeah, as well now, if you look up Lebanon and fire, it goes wildfire rages for second day in Lebanon. Spreads to Syria.
Probably wildfires. Yeah.
No, it is summer, June, July, August.
Okay.
Summer time there, so that may be something to do with it. We'll check there. Wallahu alam.
Well, just to have a note, I was in Bateman's Bay, and there was fires that had started, little ones, and I went down to Bateman's Bay for a week.
Last year when I started.
Yeah, when I started, the year 2 years or whatever, a year and a half ago. I was in Bateman's Bay. We were going around having fun, doing everything. And then there was a fire in Nowra. And they stopped people coming in, but you could able to leave, or like, yeah, whatever. And then they stopped people coming from Canberra. And I'm like, she'll be right. We stayed. She'll be right. And then the day that we left. The next day, the whole thing exploded.
What do you mean?
With fire. The whole area.
Did they evacuate you guys out, or you guys left from your own?
No, I left, and the day after, the fires erupted.
Oh, bad. Yeah, my wife's
and
uncle was
stuck there.
Probably would have known Nashat.
Everyone was stuck there. A lot of brothers were there when we saw him down at Bateman's Bay.
And I was thinking, subhanAllah, he was telling us that at the time, because the fires hit, electricity was out. So when you went to the service station to fill up petrol, you couldn't pay because you didn't have...
But some people had like 6 hours wait at the station. But the thing is, the sad thing is, when my kids and they were watching the news, there was Mogo, which is an area, that whole strip of shops, all antique shops, old shops.
I was there.
We were there. We actually went, we saw, we spoke to them, we spent a lot of time there, and we were watching them in the news all burned down. And they were interviewing this lady. She had a leather shop there. They were interviewing her. I think her name was Lucinia or something like that. They were interviewing her and she was talking and the shop was burnt down to the ground. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember that lady. I grabbed my phone. I had her card. She actually gave me her business card. I got it in my phone. I got it to her. Their shop got burnt down. And then they showed the petrol station. They showed this. Everything that we were there, we were seeing it.
SubhanAllah.
Everything. Even the Kmart that was there. Everything that was there, we were seeing it. And we were just there. You know what I mean? And everyone gathered to this ice cream shop. We were actually there. Actually, Lebanese brother owns it. And we spent a lot of time there too at the ice cream shop. And they interviewed him. Like every person, it's like we're just there. We just a few days ago, we recognized all of them. Subhanallah.
Aside that for that as well, like I think most people do it, but that's what I was getting at, is that the FPOS machines weren't working, so they couldn't pay for anything unless you had cash. So that's why a lot of the build up with the petrol stations was no one could pay because no one had cash. So I put that aside in my head now, like subhanAllah, if I was to go traveling, go overseas, always keep a bit of cash on you. Just you don't know what happens. Allahu Alam.
Always plan B. It's like halal option, but
how are you gonna drive out if you have no petrol, bro?
Fill up, but you're stuck in traffic anyway. The guy's running after you. No,
on the window.
I saw once. I was filling at a petrol station. I'm looking at a guy. I go, what's this guy look weird for? He's filling up and he's looking around like that. What's wrong with this guy? And then he fills up a car, jumps in and just drives off. And then it was like a movie. Then I saw the guy in the petrol station run out after him.
What can you do, bro?
I'm sitting there going,
let's go. I need to pay for my petrol.
What just happened?
So more on Turkey, they're actually wildfires. So there's some reports there are several fires happening in the south of Turkey. So yeah, it's a developing story there.
Is that a sign of the Jumma?
Allahu Alam.
Have you ever, Nadal, filled up a car with the wrong petrol?
You should know that that's happened, but it wasn't me.
Did it happen?
Yeah.
That's just a random question.
Diesel.
Which car was that?
I think it was one of the vans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You had to undo it and clean it and get it all fixed up and everything.
The lesson is,
you can't put the diesel in the petrol. That doesn't work.
You always got to remind your wife about that.
Yeah,
Adnan.
I have. Don't worry.
No, the other way around.
Because the diesel nozzle is bigger.
The other way around.
Yeah, you can put petrol in the diesel.
But you can, because some of the trucks, they have the tank on the side. Because I've done it.
You put petrol in it?
put diesel in it, and it's petrol. Because the tanks on the sides, they got a big opening.
Yeah, it's
I
massive.
opened it up and I thought, oh, truck, diesel. I filled it up with diesel.
Yeah, that's weird. That's what I was going to say. I thought a truck would have been diesel.
And then, no, but some trucks are petrol. You know what I mean? Petrol trucks.
Harm to the society. To the
So,
environment.
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Now, we failed to mention at the start that it is the 20th of Dhul-Hijjah, which means in about 9 or 10 days, we begin a new Hijri year, 1443, and it'll be Muharram, which is another blessed month. And during the month of Muharram, we have the day of Ashura, which is recommended to fast, as it's a day which forgives your sins for 1 year. So we just had Arafah, day before, year before, and year after. So keep that in mind, dear brothers. In 10 days' time, we will have that blessed day, or that blessed month beginning, 1443, after the blessed Hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, what's interesting is many people don't know that who introduced the Hijri calendar. It wasn't the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. It was Omar radiyallahu anhu.
Based on, I think it was Ali that said that we should start on that. One of the companions said we should start at the time of the migration.
Because the Prophet ﷺ didn't actually make Hijrah in Muharram. He made Hijrah in Rabi' al-Awwal, I think it was, from memory.
Yeah.
It was a few months after the Muharram. So
And
it's
there was
interesting, many people don't know that.
And there was a dispute between two people regards to, I think, a debt. And they brought to Umar ibn Khattab and had the month. And he said, yeah, but we have the month, but what year?
Mm.
You know?
Oh, subhanAllah.
And that's when it was decided that this is going to be an issue if we don't have some form of
So it's good to always maintain
numbering
the
system.
use of that calendar, especially with our children. And a good way of doing that, Dr. Omar, that we recommend is on a bookmark, is write the 12 months there. And every time you use the bookmark there and you're reading an Islamic book and the date comes up, just look at the bookmark for the month that you're in, and then try to memorize certain days like the Battle of Badr, you know, the 17th of Ramadan, for example. And you have the 10th of Ashura, the day of Ashura. You have Arafat, the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah. And that way,
but with the Islamic calendar, it's a natural calendar. It goes off the moon, whatever the moon does. The Gregorian calendar is
which brings me to the next.
It tries to preset. I think it was put in by Caesar.
Well, you just took the question out.
Sorry,
who introduced it and when? And thanks.
He answered the question.
Trying to create some
Caesar salad. And then
Julius Caesar. Is that right?
I know. Apparently, a lot of Caesars. One of them.
I think it was Julius Caesar.
The thing is not perfect, because at the end of the calendar, there's a discrepancy
of a quarter of a day.
Not exactly quarter of a day.
No, it is. That's why every 4 years you got the lunar.
But it's not exactly
leap year. It's a bit off.
Yeah, the leap year, I think, is 23 hours and 54 minutes or something like that.
And that's why it goes over. Because the way we learnt about it is Gregorian, they try to calculate how long it takes the earth to revolve around the sun. Lunar month the Islamic month goes by the lunar month. So 29 to 30 days.
Yeah, but it's always going to be 355.
Yeah, 10 days short of the Gregorian calendar.
But with the lunar, with the Gregorian, it's going to be either 265, every 4 years it's going to be 264. Or
it's 365 and
sorry.
a quarter. Roughly a quarter.
Well, I'm saying in like 100 or couple of thousand years time, that little 2-3 minutes, they're gonna ask to readjust that. But that's with the leap year. If you're born in leap year, what happens? All right.
My sister was born 1 day off a leap year, 28th of February 2000.
That's all right.
Dr. Omar, when's the last time you used the bus?
I don't even know what's an Opal card. I hear about it. I've never
use your credit card.
Dealt one.
Because there's reports today that buses are running beyond capacity in Sydney hotspot areas. What about you, Adnan? When's the last time you used the bus?
More than 10 years,
more than 20 years ago. When I was at uni. Probably 3 years ago.
Because for weeks now, it's been reported that thousands of Sydney bus services have had too many passengers to allow for COVID-19 social distancing requirements, including dozens in the epicenter of the outbreak.
Because I think instead of doing 15-minute buses, or half-an-hour buses, they've like halved it. So then everyone just waits for the whole bus, and then the bus is full, which is counterproductive.
I don't know. I can't understand public transport.
What are you going to do if you need to get to the city?
Walk.
And you can't afford parking.
You're going to walk, huh?
At the city, all right. But I remember I used to catch a train a bad story once. I caught a train to Campbelltown.
No.
So we go East Hills or Pelania, Glenfield, got off at Glenfield, down to Campbelltown. Once I was so tired, I was coming back from Campbelltown. I fell asleep. and I think I ended up
Wagga.
past Liverpool
Go,
because it kept going. I was supposed to get off at Glenfield, just kept going,
Go around,
going,
you guys
and
to
I
the
got to somewhere past Liverpool. I don't know where I ended up. I just woke up like, have you seen this place before? Because you memorize the trip there and back. I was full, I was full days there. But the train was good in uni because you actually did most of your studies. I used to do most of my studies on the train.
My first job, subhanAllah, Allah Jazani, I went to uni in the city, University of New South Wales, and I hated catching the train so much. So then at the end of the last year, I started driving after Fajr. I'd drive to uni, I'd miss the traffic, and I'd park my car, study till like 7, 8 o'clock, then I'd leave. So I'd beat the traffic, just so I avoid catching public transport. And I used to laugh at public transport. I'm like, I can't wait for uni to finish so I can get off public transport. Then I got a job subhanAllah, the only place that accepted me the year after was a job in the city. So I used to catch a train to the city every day for work. But I used to read so many books that hour trip, wallah, I think in that year I read like 4 or 5 lengthy books. So it's okay if you make it, yeah.
And before everyone used to read books, then they went to earphones. Then everyone started wearing earphones.
But now the earphones and music, it's not like earphones and listening to
some
something.
people got ebooks.
Are they called earphones or headphones, Dr. Omar?
Oh no, they're going your
AirPods,
ear,
something.
your head.
Really?
What you got is a headphone. I'm talking about the little ones.
Oh, okay.
The AirPods or the earbuds.
Earbuds or whatever. Everyone on the train is sitting there.
What do you guys reckon about for me, it more affects me, how the tradies can't work if you're in 8 LGAs?
So now, can you clarify this? Because I didn't understand it properly. You live in the Canterbury Bankstown region.
Work.
You can't work.
Only
emergency.
Yeah.
Essential.
Yeah.
So you're not essential.
Construction sites can only open if they're outside those 8 LGAs. So outside the Fairfield, Liverpool, Bankstown, all those LGAs.
Yep.
And then tradies from within those 8 LGAs can't leave to work at those
So what's
sites.
even the point of even opening it? Just keep it closed.
So the guys, let's say if you live in Mosman, you live in the Northern Beaches, you've got a construction site, you can go work, your life is normal, back to normal. Everyone that lives in those 8 LGAs, if you're a trader, you can't leave those LGAs. And even if you have a construction site in Bankstown, you can't open up
Local
again.
government areas for those that I didn't know what LGA is when it first came out. Local government area.
Became a surveyor, you'd know.
The funniest thing is that one with Dr. Chan, whatever, she goes, I grew up in Punch Bowl. Oh, they killed her. They made memes out of that one. You hear that one?
What's wrong with growing up in Punch Bowl? Because I did too. What's wrong with growing up in Punch Bowl?
I don't know, why did you say it for? But
No, she's trying to show that she's got a connection. So like, she don't slam me for adding these restrictions.
You know what? A shout out to everyone who went to school in Punch Bowl. It was a good experience. Punch Bowl Public School. Did
the Man'us shop make a killing off you guys?
Man'us shop. Now, when we were young, there was only one Man'us shop. I'm talking about late 80s, early 90s, and I think it's still there. I don't know if it's a Man'us shop. Is it still there across the road from the railway station there? I think it was called at one. Yeah, I think it was called Yusuf at one stage.
yeah, I think it is.
Is it still there?
Yeah. Oh, it's a coffee shop maybe
I'm
now.
not too sure. There's a coffee shop there. Is the coffee shop the Man'us shop? I think.
I remember Yusuf.
Remember that was we used to, because I used to live where the school was, Rosemont Avenue, in that street there. So we were across the road from the school basically, and our parents back in the day, they would send us with the za'atar actually.
But you'll be surprised, bro.
So they'd make the za'atar themselves, yeah, Adnan. I don't know if your dad used to do that to you.
And before majority of the Lebanese lived in the area, Punch Bowl Boys was just a normal school.
It wasn't normal.
No, we've through like
It's saying before the Lebanese boys came.
No, it's been there was a Punch Bowl. Yeah, it was Punch Bowl for a while now.
People have to understand why the Lebanese and the Arabs and whatever mainly in Punch Bowl Likimba. There's actually a reason for that. Is because when they started to come to Australia, you had agents at the airport that would come and meet you there and offer you a job.
From overseas. Oh, that's back when there wasn't much corporate
70s.
office jobs. It's like a lot of tradie jobs.
Whatever they needed, manufacturing was a big
Yeah,
thing.
exactly, yeah.
So you signed up with an agency to start working. You hopped on a bus. They took you to, if you've seen all the units in the Kimba and Punch Bowl.
Yeah.
Green Acres, no units. They were the main
Units.
they were built for the
some, but for the elderly.
For the working class, mainly in
Now they
Kimba.
introduced them. Now, yeah.
So then
SubhanAllah.
they were built. Majority of the people that came in the 70s did live in Punch Bowl Kimba.
Would they come as families or just a man from overseas?
Sometimes families.
Yeah.
My parents was my mum and my dad.
You know what's quite surprisingly is there's actually a large earlier I think in the 70s, if my memory serves me correctly, a large Lebanese population in Redfern.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I've met a few of them, but they were a little bit in the 50s.
Surprise, 50 earlier then. So
Yeah,
I'll
they were
probably
in the
bit
50s.
off.
So what happened? You got there, they gave you a house, and you started working
Cheering down the road.
the next day. Most of them would work. Don't forget, Shalora, a lot of factories.
Yeah, still
Padstow,
to this day.
Padstow, it was where
A lot of factories.
that is, yeah. That whole thing there, there used to be factories.
Yeah, there's still now like they're
oven
a lot
factories.
down
My
there.
mum worked there in the oven factory there.
Joineries, kitchens.
Yeah. No, before that type of stuff, they used to manufacture ovens, mattresses, everything, all that manufacturing type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of people were.
The lots in Padstow.
In those
My
areas.
uncle a couple of years ago bought a business, something to do with joinery. In Padstow, the lots are massive. You drive in, he sent me the address, and I go in, and there's like literally 30 warehouses, and they're all massive, double story, huge inside.
There used to be big
Industrial areas,
Yeah,
yeah.
massive industrial areas.
And I was talking to my boss as well. He was saying that a lot of the areas then, so well, let's say a lot of Muslims or Arabs went to Punch Bowl, then everyone that used to come overseas because they used to speak Arabic and stuff, they would go
stay
there.
there. Yeah,
That's why you got those like Vietnamese areas. You got like
yeah.
certain places
Everyone
where-
end up hooking up in an area.
yeah, because it'd be like once you have like 30, let's say like 100 Arabs in these areas,
Yeah.
you contact overseas. Oh, we're living in this area. Come.
But it's right. The Lebanese and the Arab that go for the Rabbitohs, you might see them around.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
They came. No, they came in the 50s, and
Yeah.
they came to like Redfern area. Before that, they were in the early like 1900s and things like that. They came, but a lot of them didn't come to Sydney. A lot of them were spread out to different areas, and because most of the Lebanese that came in at that time was for trade
Yeah,
and was for materials and mining. They were the three reasons why they came. So they were in Adelaide, Melbourne, Townsville.
yeah.
They were in these areas. Because I met a lady. She's she was born here and she's 90 years old. So figure that out.
There's a lot of Lebas as well in as you get to the city of Marrickville, Ashfield, all those suburbs
Yeah,
as well.
there's a lot there.
Italians as well. I remember once I was doing a job on one street, and they were all Italians. There was a lot of elderlies exercising. They're like 65, 70, and they were trying to talk to me, but no English, and I don't speak Italian.
And the guy probably owns the street.
Bro, in 5 minutes, I had been surrounded by like 25 elderly people from Italians. Every house on the street was looking at me. What are you doing here? I'm like, bro, that house that's newly built, I'm measuring and I'm leaving, bro. They're all trying to understand what I was doing, and like, yeah. And they're all mates, they're all this. And once one person understood me, he's like, yeah, back off. They all spread out back into their houses.
No, that's surprising. But in Australia, everyone came in different segments, different sections according to.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, you're sitting in Lebanon, right? Imagine this: you're sitting in Lebanon. Nadal, you're sitting in Lebanon, yeah.
Wish, yeah, inshallah, one day.
And then someone comes up
70s.
there and says, "Listen, there's a country called Australia." First thing you're gonna say is, "Where's this Australia?" You know, people only.
Brother, when we were in Punch Bowl, I didn't know where Greenacre was when we were young. I don't even know. When we moved to Greenacre, I had no idea about Greenacre.
The first
and
thing
it's like the next suburb.
The first thing they used to tell you is like 2-3 months on a boat or whatever, or 2-3 days on a plane.
Ya Allah.
Australia was considered to be like,
When?
yeah, even the England used to make fun of Australia.
Yeah, it's too far.
The oldies, because now, all right, you can go Sydney to Dubai, to Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Before, it wasn't like that. You have to go around the whole world to get to Australia. It was like Australia was cut off from the rest of the world. Don't forget, remember when we were growing up, you don't know, Nadal, when we were growing up as kids, yeah, when a game came out.
It hasn't grown up yet.
overseas-
What was that low blow, that one?
No, I'm saying like our generation, your younger
it's
generation.
fine.
You want to, like, for example, if you were playing games, you just go online, you download it.
Yeah.
But I had to wait maybe 1 year to get that game before it was available in Australia.
So how do you know it existed, honestly?
Because through like
Word of
American
mouth
shows and things like that.
Yeah, Allah be burning, it's on TV and this and
Yeah.
that. No one knows of its existence.
Because things took ages. There's like Australia was the even wrestling, when we used to watch wrestling when I was growing up.
Let's
I
move
used
on with
to I used to watch it.
Astaghfirullah.
Yeah. I used to think I'm watching it. The thing's like a month old.
that. Yeah, it was a lot bigger in our time than
Yeah,
it.
I heard my cousin was telling me
It's
our
I'm not
uncle
saying
used to
it's
think it
not
was
big.
real. And
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
would like, no, it's real.
You know, surprisingly, it's quite big in Egypt. When I was there, they have dedicated wrestling channels on their satellite TVs, and it's pretty much free there. So everyone's got that satellite TV, and they've got like a dedicated channel in Arabic for it.
Oh, well.
So sadly, people waste their time.
When people
on
figured
that
out it's
stuff.
fake is when the UFC came out and they realized what real wrestling and grappling and
way,
punching,
way
whatever.
before that, people. And you come on.
I didn't know.
You
I
didn't
didn't.
know?
I'm actually maybe I didn't want to believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's entertainment. It's not actually a sport. It's actually entertainment industry.
The problem is now it's they've made it into, or for a while now they introduce storylines and
that's what I was about to say.
soap
It's all
operas
tournament
and women
dramas
and,
and
you know, a lot of haram relationships and,
You're on camera,
and the rest
brother.
of it. So yeah, I don't know what he's referring to.
The
so
diamond cutter.
we'll move on from there.
No, I don't remember.
We'll move
You
on.
don't remember?
From,
I mean, these
I-
are old,
from
the
those
old guys,
references.
old blokes.
Listen, I didn't have Foxtel. So whenever I wanted to have the Foxtel, it was when I'd go at my cousin's house. So I'd watch wrestling once every like 2 months when I was at my cousin's house. And this and that. Like we'd be like begging, Baba, please let me go to my cousin's house. We can watch Foxtel.
No,
and
if you had
kids shows.
Optus cable back then, you were like,
We had Channel
You were
9,
king, you
Channel
were king.
10, the cartoons in the morning and Saturday. That's all we had.
Ahmad, would you ever consider being a school principal?
no,
Never.
never.
What about you, Adnan?
Deputy, yeah, no.
I cannot stand.
Because guess whose
I wouldn't say
principal or CEO position has been advertised?
Maybe
What do
you
you
can't
think?
mention their name. But
You
it's
can
public
mention their
school.
names. It's on public platform on seek.com.au.
Does it start with an M and end in a Fahad?
Malik Fahad, yeah. Seeks to appoint an exceptional and inspirational leader to the position of principal, Dr. Ramon. You fit that description.
No, I want to be deputy, bro. Deputy gets
Less stress?
No, deputy deals with the behavior, bro.
You just want to take out your frustration, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
My wife and my mum was laughing at me because on Eid Salah, I took out my frustration on everyone parking illegally. And like, wallah, fishat khalli, bro. I released all my anger for the whole year on that morning. For half an hour. Park there, this, that. And they're all looking at me and laughing at me. And I
Oi.
finished with khair.
Nadal, you put a surveyor, in charge of parking.
Omar,
You're 3 millimeters to the right.
No.
You're inclining too much to the
I'm
left. Your tire is flat. Your car's moving a little bit
Omar,
to the.
like, wahyat Allah, you would not understand. There's cones everywhere. So once a parking bay is full, we put 2 cones. Cones. So you got to
Did you
drive
make
all
sure
the way
you put
down.
the cones exactly the same distance
Listen,
apart?
cuz, we're doing it, and I see people like they're like, oh, they're driving into a bay where there's cones, and he's looking around. I'm like, Habibi, there's cones there for a reason, bro.
I've seen people get out of the car, move the cones,
Yeah,
park
yeah.
the car, and then put the cones back.
And then like you're blocking 6 cars, and he's like, I'm gonna be late. I'm like, yeah, you left your house, like go park at the end, bro.
And I'll tell you a funny story. After Jumu'ah, they had this special designated place for the Imam to park, or the Khatib to park. I parked there. Someone double parked me. I couldn't get out. Put it this way, I prayed Asr in that mosque.
No, you didn't go back
I-
inside and looking for the bloke.
The mosque was empty. I could not find the guy anywhere. Anywhere I couldn't find him. I couldn't get out. There's no way I could get out. He actually parked so close,
You couldn't move.
I couldn't get out. There's no way I can get out. Like I was just completely stuck.
So did he come?
I waited, and when Asr came, people prayed Asr. I asked one guy, go, listen, white car, Commodore Statesman, I remember, downstairs, this, that, whatever. Yes, me, that sounds like so-and-so's car. Go, who? So-and-so. Go, all right, where do I find Mr. So-and-so? Because it normally goes to this Lebanese restaurant after Jumu'ah. I'll go, Ma'ule.
Double parks, yeah, and just leave, forgets about the car.
Yeah. Where's this Lebanese restaurant? It's about a 10-minute walk. It's actually literally a 10-minute walk.
Allah,
I'll go there. Go to this Lebanese restaurant. He's sitting outside smoking at Gile. Well, I'll tell him off. I was going to tell him off. But he was sitting with people. So, Abu so-and-so. Okay, so I call him Salam. Ahlan, Omar, كيف صحتك? In my head, like, I just had this different image of just punching him and him dropping.
Yeah,
And then you get like this flashback that then you go back to where you are, reality. I'm like, oh, Salam, كيف صحتك? I think you're parked behind me. Because his reaction made things even worse. He goes, sorry here. And he gave me his keys. He goes, badly.
So you go, did you don't tell me you moved it? You went back, moved, and returned his
He
keys?
has to put the key on the tire when you're done. I
Oh,
was sibbing the whole way back. I moved his car. I thought about putting it in a position he can't get it out either, but yeah.
Abu Salim, we had that.
And then I put the keys on the thing and I took off. That was after Asr. And I spent maybe 2.5 hours.
That's bad, wallah. And I hate people like that. We had that at Abu Salim or something, but it's no problem. We got the forklift and moved the car. The lady came out. The guy's car.
I wish I could have moved the car. I was stuck. I couldn't do
Yeah,
nothing.
some people like
Yeah, sometimes the brothers, they get angry. They pick up small cars. They pick them up and they
move them.
they move them. But yeah, it gets really bad.
I
Parking-
understand sometimes if you're late, but it won't leave. Literally, I'll be praying if I double park someone because I'm gonna miss Jummah or something. I'm not even concentrating about prayer. I'm concentrating about moving my car after. The second I'm after, I'm bolting back. But I can't stand people that don't have that. I don't know, surroundings or even think about things twice.
He went and smoked that, yeah, and he 10 minutes walk to the place,
And he's still smoking it.
and he went sit down and smoked al gile. And even on approach team, he gave me his keys. He goes, "Can you please move it then?"
Let's get to a few posts and tweets by some of our dua and mashayikh. Sheikh Muhammad Dua, he posted a few days ago. Better late than never by us. A loss can never be a loss if it leads you to finding Allah Azza wa Jal. Beautiful.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, to the point. You like that, Adnan?
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. No, that's how you. It's a technique that you use at school for reminders to stick. Keep it simple, like dumb it down for people, and keep things simple. The longer something is, it's harder for someone to memorize. Am I digging myself a hole?
Yep.
Am I safe right now?
I don't know. I think, yeah.
I'll leave that. I just
You still haven't broken Safwan's statement.
Yeah, let's not get there. Let's not
You
go
don't
there.
want to know about this one.
Yeah, better.
I love you, Safwan.
Now,
Just don't get any thoughts.
Sheikh Khalid Muhammad, who's overseas currently, he said it's not a laugh to scare your children. So about scaring your
that, yeah.
children. And this is nice, and I'm sure you can shed some light on this, Dr. Omar. Something which really stuck with me was a case study, one of my psychological units or developmental psychology put a great emphasis on. One of the main points extracted from it was the psychological impact, consequences, and mental aftermath which could result from training children to be scared of certain things. An example of that is the dark. Don't train your children to be scared of the dark and treat it as if it's amusing. This branches out to so many things which some parents find amusement in seeing the child or children show serious symptoms of psychological and potentially psychomatic, is that how you pronounce it? Illnesses. Psychomatic?
Yeah.
It's not funny, it's not a laugh. Yes, the children may get over it. On the other hand, it could potentially have serious and significant consequences on their mental health. And what was a contributing factor to that? You.
The thing is, what they did a study once, and they put a white mouse, in a child's hand. And then, as the child was playing with the mouse,
What, was the color significant?
yeah, they got a pole and they smashed it on the side of the bed, one of those old cast iron, whatever, metal beds, to scare the child. And the child would jump. And then that child got scared of anything that was white.
SubhanAllah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they gave him something playful, like little mice, whatever. He was playing with it, and they whacked the side of the bed, and it caused the trauma to the child. So what Sheikh Khalid Muhammad is saying, it's pure psychology of a human, that sometimes people are scared of things, and they normally take it back to the childhood, and they find that there are things that may have triggered that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of
Fear.
Yeah, that type of fear.
Dr. Omar, we've got a special contribution to the program, bi'idhnillah. If you can look on the screen here, you'll see him soon. Let me know. Tech team inside, we ready?
10-4, I got a visual.
Let's go. We've got the sound ready. Visual.
Where are we going to hear the sound from, or are you going to hear the sound?
You can't hear the sound. You got to grab those headphones, Dr. Omar. Grab those headphones.
I'm fine, don't worry about me.
You don't have to grab all of them, Dr. Omar. Just one will do for you.
Well, I don't know which one. They're all
All the same. They're all the same.
All right.
Yeah, it's getting set up. Now, that is something we're trialing now. So our viewers should be able to see
The screen?
on the
Facebook?
screen.
Oh, I thought you're going to alternate the screen on Facebook.
No, you'll see it live behind you, Adnan, soon.
That's fine.
But until then, until it's ready,
Bit of technical
yeah,
difficulties
some
there.
technical difficulties there. We're trialing new technology, so we can basically have
Back to
anyone
what Sheikh
on.
Khalid was saying.
Yes, sorry.
It's very, very important. If you screw with your child's head as they're growing up, And you find that don't touch that, it's gonna hurt you. Don't do this, it's gonna like you're always putting them in a position of fear. You find that they actually grow
anxious,
up, and anxious. They actually grow up. They grow up upon that.
It's bad because it's lifelong issue. You know, and if you scare someone and khalas, later on in life they're probably not. I know people like that. They're not rational anymore when they get to certain fears and they just everything's out the door.
Like I once ate lubia mawzat. I remember as a kid, and I don't know if there was a piece of metal in it or something, but I choked and I could feel it scraping down, and I was my throat was sore for weeks. Now when I eat it, subhanallah, I have that feeling comes back, and even when I eat it, I always like, subhanallah, I just like really have a look before I put it in my mouth, and it's just psychology, khalas. Because I was very traumatic growing up. It was for weeks. It was like something ripped down my, my throat, and that just khalas stays in your mind. Some brothers that when they eat fish, they'll only eat fillet.
Yeah, the bones. Yeah, I've had that.
They will never eat anything with bones, because the kids growing up that ate and they had a husky in it and they choked on it, so they only eat fillet. And when they eat it, you see them, they'll break it up and really make sure. They get really, really scared of that type of stuff. Subhanallah. So you find that it does affect, Like we had Sheikh Farhan the other day. He must have had some traumatic experience with anib because he said it was overrated. So I believe maybe there's some childhood memory or something like that. Trauma growing up. Are
you guys going to hit me if I agree with him? Malfouf is better.
Get out.
Because as if Malfouf isn't better.
So for those who don't know what they're talking about, what is anib?
Cabbage leaves, like it's like rice wrapped in cabbage. No, not cabbage
leaves. Vine leaves.
Vine leaves.
Malfouf is cabbage leaves.
Yeah. Vine leaves. The mum does individually. It takes sometimes days to prepare and make.
Just buy the tanjira now. You can buy the pot now for a few hundred.
You put it in now they do it in a pressure cooker, which is considered to be a big innovation, a huge innovation. But you know what? But you know what we used to do with the malfouf? Talk about malfouf. When mum used to make it, the next day we wanted to take it to school.
It stinks.
Nah, it's the best. You know what we used to do? Lebanese bread. We used to roll it up and put it in that toaster.
What?
Yeah.
Lebanese bread?
Yeah. Roll. Some people eat malfouf with Lebanese bread. Have you ever seen that?
Like a sandwich?
Yeah. We used to toast it.
That's this. Oh,
no.
I gotta try it.
You gotta try it. Have you tried it?
I'm not toasted, no, but in the bread, yeah.
You gotta try it toasted because we used to take it to school. So we used to toast it, cut it in half,
cold,
roll it, bro. We used to eat it cold. It was the best.
Don't get turned off the smell of malfouf when your mum's cooking it. The whole house smells disgusting, but
there's
amazing.
Some people in our family that if malfouf is cooked, they won't come. They actually will not come to the azima if malfouf is cooked.
Because the smell is bad?
Yeah, they can't stand the smell.
Too much, man.
Fasoli
I can't stand.
But you know what? With a lot of Lebanese food, it's actually quite healthy. If cooked the right way, it's actually quite healthy.
All village food is healthy, I guess. Like even whichever Asian food and stuff like that, I think the natural food is healthy. Other than the fried foods we have, the quick foods that we have that's like instant.
Like one food is transformed into so many different, like kibbeh, your kibbeh naya, then they can transform that into the ras kibbeh.
And then the wide ones as well.
Yeah, like you can just keep on going. And then there's one that mom used to make where she used to do it in a pan and with sultanas and I don't know, whatever came in, that was a type of kibbeh.
It's probably like whatever they had that was going to expire, I was going to add a date, just chuck it in.
Yeah, they will figure out something for it, or it will be transformed into like a soup.
Yeah.
The Egyptians did that with kushari. Oh, I love kushari.
I don't know what that is.
You know what kushari is?
No.
It's riz, adas riz.
Yeah.
Lentils and rice.
Yeah.
With
every carbohydrate you can think of.
In a soup?
No,
it's like a rice.
You've got pasta.
You used to have mjadra.
Yeah, I know mjadra.
It's like that, but on steroids.
Pasta. This normal Italian pasta with cooked onions, and they used to make like a special tomato sauce.
Damperon.
Used to be like a triple level.
You gained so much weight from that.
It's like a lasagna
of cups.
Yeah, it's off its head, but apparently it's very popular street food. Even here in Australia, they got kushari vans. There's vans that go around. It's a very popular food, and it used to be called a peasant's food. What that means is like the poor people used to have it.
I heard even wara anab, unless I'm crazy, wara anab was also known as poor people's food.
Hell, think about it. Everything wara anab that you make is from your yard. You're using the vine leaves, using the rice, the meat. You know what I mean? You're not using anything exotic in it. It's actually quite straightforward and simple.
Because I remember someone saying it was cheaper back then. Yeah, like that. Everything's in your backyard. So it used to be known as poor people food, but then it grabbed a hype or something. All right, it's another food, but I don't know why I'm remembering that.
Well, remember that movie Ratatouille?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
What?
They call them sa'a in Lebanese.
That little dish that he makes at the end?
Yeah, that's sa'a. You know when they do the eggplant and the potato and the onion, they mix it in this paste? That's what it is. We got that from the French. Because some of the French influence the Lebanese food. That's what ratatouille is. Because when I was reading about it, it said there's a popular Lebanese dish. I'm like, what do you mean? That's not. It's French, but it's actually, and it's very common in Morocco and Lebanon. No one ever used to make it. Probably your grandparents.
Maybe my grandparents.
Maybe they have it for breakfast, and it's a cold dish.
Yeah, I know. It's always on the side that no one touches. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's only my dad eats it.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. My mom used to sometimes do it with egg. It's actually really, really nice.
I'm telling you, like I was telling my wife the other day, I think the generation gap is we've lost out on so many foods. Like my generation, because my parents were basically Australian. Like my mum came when she was 40 days old.
Yeah.
My dad, and so she would cook. My dad came when he was 20.
Yeah.
So then she'd cook some Lebanese food, but a lot of it was just whatever was easy.
But think about it, a lot of the
Aussie food.
like ajja. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about eggs and spinach. It's simple, like stuff that you would find. And you'll be surprised. A lot of Lebanese, when they grow stuff in their backyard, they're using a lot of that to cook with.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? A lot of it is used to cook with.
Yeah.
Especially the what's it called? The herbs. Winter herbs a lot, like the za'atar, the zube. Oh, amazing.
My grandma.
That with a bit of onion.
Zube is hectic.
Now we apologise for the guest. We're not going to mention the name, but due to technical difficulties.
He's given up?
Technical difficulties, we cannot have him on. It's from our end, but we're working on fixing it, inshallah, for next time.
Have you heard the Lebanese argue about between thyme and
no
oregano?
No.
They sit there for hours, bro, debating it.
About what?
You know, za'atar has two. There's the round one and then there's the thin one.
Yes.
In English, the thin one's actually called thyme.
Yeah.
But there's another one that looks similar to it, so they call it oregano. And zube is sometimes referred to as oregano.
And everyone loses their minds?
And no, that's not baladi, that's from this, that's not from the... There's actually a big ikhtilaf of what's actually za'atar.
Just eat it, bro.
Now, what there is an ikhtilaf, however, is that the best day of the week is Friday, Dr. Omar. And Prophet ﷺ, he told us the best day on which the sun rises is Friday. On this day, Adam was created. On this day, he entered Jannah, paradise, and on this day, he was expelled from it. So yes, we can't go to Jum'ah prayer, but try to do all the other stuff you normally do for Jum'ah, or the other acts of worship you normally do, such as reading Quran, making dhikr, sending prayers upon the Prophet ﷺ, and your prayers obviously as well. So we've sadly come to the end of today's program, and don't forget to make the most of Friday, because as another hadith mentions, each of the 5 prayers and from one Jum'ah to the next there's an expiation for the time in between, so long as one does not commit any major sin. So make the most of today, my dear brothers and sisters.
So for the Muslim,
remain positive and continue in the good deeds
so
that
for
you're
the
doing.
Muslim, the best day is Friday.
Naam. Jum'ah, yeah.
And for some people, for the hard working class, the best day is what, Wednesday? Is that payday mainly?
I think it's Thursday's payday.
Thursday is a selling day.
Did you hear about the guy who wanted to...
selling gets paid on Thursday.
Did you hear about the guy who wanted to move Jum'ah to Sunday?
Habibi, like once
It will no longer be
we want to hire a hall, right? And it was actually a Christian owner. Allah Hadi, he actually said to us, I'll help you out whatever I can. We actually were desperate needing a hall for Jum'ah. And we had a meeting with him, me and Sheikh Jalal. And, you know, surprisingly, he actually said, listen, I don't want nothing.
Wow.
You know, I want to help you out. I don't want nothing from you. Come, use the hall. And, you know, you only need it for an hour. As long as you tidy up. He had like this empty section. He had, you know, the cloths that you put over the, what do you call it? The tables. Because you pull them out, lay them on the ground, you pray your Jum'ah, pack them up, put them neatly, and because I haven't got a problem. There was only one naked statue you had in the middle. He goes, just cover it.
Oh, that's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Because we told him, we go, what about that? Can we cover it? He goes, yeah, cover it. He goes, if you want, we can probably move it.
It was been very nice,
you know. And he goes, what days do you need it? I go, "Nah, it's Friday." He goes, "Ooh, it's a big problem on Friday because we got weddings on Friday. We have to prepare."
Oh my god.
He goes, "Khlas, just have it on Thursday."
Haram, isn't it?
We're like, Haram, we didn't know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
pure ignorance, you know, but he didn't know. He was genuine too.
Yeah.
He's like, "Just move it to Thursday." I go, "We can't, it has to be Friday." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "We have mass on Saturday sometimes."
Oh no.
They do move their mass around to different days. He goes, "No, the problem is we have to." He goes, "Well, I want to help you." He goes, "If any other day during the week, ahlo sahla." But he goes, "Friday, we're prepping for weddings.
Weddings in
It's
the
hard
afternoon
for us."
at night, yeah.
He goes, "Khalas, just tell your followers on Thursday."
A new announcement.
And we're like, "Well, I wish we could, man, but it has to be at a certain time." But yeah, no, it was, and his actually reception place got burnt down a few months after that. So, like sometimes people, they just like, obviously they're not doing it for Allah's sake, but sometimes generally people just want to help whatever way they can, and you can tell this in this guy. You know,
They got sincerity.
he had that bit of sincerity, they say, and has a good heart, but you know, it's just not connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's what he's missing. And sometimes you bump across people, stairs in the door. We're gonna take a bit of time, 5 more minutes, it's fine. You bump into people that they have a good heart. You say, you know, the only thing they're missing is Islam. And you make dua for these people. I think it's very, very important.
Yeah, make dua for them.
Or did you actually call them to Islam? That's another question.
Yeah, we should be calling to Islam 24/7 for our manners, our etiquettes, our dealing with others. It's people think you have to get up on the minbar and give a khutbah, or come on the radio and give a lesson. All your actions should be calling to Islam. So if you're in the surgery, or if you're in the yard, or if you're on the grounds, you know, measuring whatever you measure, or you're in a studio, do what you can.
Regardless, either way, you're gonna cop it.
That's fine.
You know what I mean? You put a guy surveyor in charge of parking stuff. It'll
front
be
of
like
the
this car.
computer.
You'll be measuring.
Wallah, I'm not, bro.
Oh, do you get your tool out, measure the car, make sure the guy parks exactly like parallel to the other car.
No, cuz I don't care as long as they park in the right spot, bro.
Doesn't make you itch, but
No, it doesn't. It makes me itch when he parks in the grass and you go, Ard khair Allah.
When you drive, do you look at things around? Like I look at people walking.
And like this guy's got this issue.
Do you do that? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ever drive and look at something like that shouldn't be put there? That shouldn't.
My
be
wife
put
thinks
there?
I'm a nerd because I walk past the curb and like there's a survey mark. He just like walks past like.
So all those markings you can read them. Because once I saw the ground had like 1,000 on it.
Yeah. Different colors means different things, and he's got the depth of them. Then he's got what it is, and yeah, everything's different.
Oh well, there we go.
Interesting.
Right, we'll end it there.
Take a picture.
Done, Dr. Omar. You are the man. It is your show.
Allah takum afia. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for tuning in. We do have a special program coming up.
Yes.
The details will be available very, very soon.
Yes.
On Sunday,
Possibly
Sunday night.
Alhamdulillah, there's been a lot of requests regarding, you know, the main talking point in the community, which is the COVID-19 and the vaccine and all the misconceptions. We've had a show with Sheikh Nassim about how to deal with conspiracy theories. It's on our YouTube channel, Albayan Radio Australia. And we also, a few days ago, with Dr. Omar, Jazahullah Khair, and our brother Saeed, the pharmacist from Your Discount Chemist in Greenacre, who's been coming on Albayan for the last few years and giving us his advice. We spoke about the COVID-19 vaccines, all you need to know, also available on our YouTube channel. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Sheikh Nassim for part 2 of how to deal with conspiracy theories. And also Sunday, we're going to have Dr. Omar with our dear brother, Dr. Nazir as well.
And the actual information of the topic will be
and
available.
the topic will be available. Today, we're going to continue, inshallah. Look out for Jummah Online live today, inshallah. Also, 4:15, Dhul-Hijjah afternoons, where Sheikh Khalid and Sheikh Jalal al-Shami are discussing the story of Ka'b bin Malik in English and Arabic. And also later on tonight, your co-host of the Seerah podcast will be joining us for his weekly lesson, which normally would be held at ASWJ Auburn, but due to the current restrictions and Sydney lockdown, it will be held in the Albayan Radio Studios. He'll be continuing his series on the great book by Ibn Qayyim, The Disease and the Cure, part 6 tonight at 7:20 p.m. live on Albayan Radio and YouTube and Facebook live as well. Albayan Radio Australia, YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'd like to thank our tech team and the brothers with us today. Barakallah feekum, my dear brothers and sisters. Make sure you stay safe and take care and be patient. Wallahu alam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.